how it rolls, baby. And that's how the cookie crumbles. So, guys, looks like we're back for another live episode.
What is up?
That's right. Welcome back to Stogies N Stuff. Technically episode 74,
yes,
but this is our official episode 2 of the live series. I'll name it like that. But yeah, man, I mean, fuck, I'm excited. We're trying this whole live feature out. We might say some random ass shit that might catch you guys off guard. Welcome to the real behind the scenes of going live, Stogies N Stuff. So again, this is the live version, and then later on our strategy here is uploading the high edited version and posting it up as episode 74. But
that's right. You
guys are watching this live. So I don't know, tonight. Damn, good morning. Sorry, 10:08 a.m. Shit, I feel like we should be doing this with some stogies one of these nights.
Yeah, we have
these evenings. Beautiful evenings coming up. This is California weather lately.
Yeah, man. It's like 70s, a little breeze.
It's not humid. We're not sweating outside.
Yeah.
It's still pretty awful that we're in the 70s in mid-November, but I'll take it. Fuck it.
I'll take it too, Johnny. And by the way, gotta address this. It is my man Johnny's birthday, bro.
Oh, birthday right here.
Big 3-2.
Big 3-2, bro.
Damn.
It
hurts to say it, but
hurts to say it.
I mean, it's all good. We're growing physically and mentally, emotionally, personally. So that's the goal.
Here's the growth, Johnny. Here's the growth.
Here's the growth, baby.
It's I don't know, man. 30s have been fun. I'm older than both of y'all. 35. God damn. Yeah. I'm 1 year away from. I'm 1 year away from that whole unk status. I'm still at a big bro stats, but it's my last year.
Well, I'll say this: you're still in your prime. Shit, I'm not in my prime, man. I'm getting there. I can feel it. Things are projecting well.
Yeah, they are, man.
So I still have a ways to go, but I just go to show, man. I mean, you're in your prime right now, so let's take advantage of that.
Yeah, sorry.
Like, it's your birthday today. The big 3-2, and things like this really make me reflect. It makes me reflect on the power of this, the power of having each other, a community, a relationship with individuals.
I like that transition.
Interests, we share a grounding in faith, a grounding in moral principalities and moral obligations to one another.
So I want to make it clear. One thing that we were talking about prior to going live here is what's going to be the topic. What topic are we hitting today?
Right.
A topic that every man, every woman, everybody listening has dealt with at some point. That's relationships. Right, Mike? I think that's what we're getting at. The power of... power of the tongue. No, I'm just kidding. Power of relationships, guys. Can't hear you, Jesse, at all.
Can you turn off your Wi-Fi on your phone?
Oh, Wi-Fi on the phone? Well, I guess he's
Why? What's wrong with it?
I think his Wi-Fi is slowing down.
Real quick.
Oh.
Too many connections.
Okay, I already turned it off. We're good.
Can you turn off your Wi-Fi on your phones?
Oh, it's right there. So, I think that's exactly right, Mo. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get into. And there's a couple of books that you've heard me speak of very often. And before we really start just getting into this stuff, I think it's just important to get y'all centered in where we're going with everything. And it's the book of Job and the book of Ecclesiastes. And there are some verses in there that really go into the meaning and the power of relationships. One of those from Ecclesiastes, which I'll read, and there's derivatives and versions of it, but I want to read to you all the verse itself to you from the version I'm looking at.
And again, one thing I want to make clear, guys, we're not talking about romance here. We're talking about relationships that shape your life. And I think what we're providing here is experience directly of how we've pushed forward with specific relationships, what has in the past held us back, what's challenged us, potentially drained us, and I want to frame this with this. Pretty much, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I heard that quote, and I think the gentleman's name was Jim something. Was it Jim Ron? I won't get too much into detail with that, but there was something that stood out to me. What it's basically saying is that community you have, it's like they say, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. It's a little bit more, it's just a little bit more of a breakdown by what that means. That alone tells you that relationships shouldn't necessarily just be casual. They should be strategic. If they affect your mindset, your ambition, your peace, really, your future, everything. But as you guys know by now, here at Stogies and Stuff, we like to bring in the Bible and the scriptures and the just wisdom that comes about with that share, because this is, if you really think about it, guys, this is scripture that has been shared down for centuries. And there have been a lot of great things that have developed from his word. So what better way to get references and study points than from the Lord himself and his words. But Mike, share it. You were going to bring up a specific book. Which one did you say you liked the most?
Well, I had already said it was the Ecclesiastes. And specifically, you look at chapter 4, verse 9 to 12. I'll read it to you. It says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their toil.
Do you want me to bring it up on the screen?
For if they fall, one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him who is alone when he falls and has not another to lift him up. Again, if 2 lie together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? And though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. Now, I'm not trying to preach to y'all. I'm not trying to do a sermon. I'm not trying to do any of that. What I'm strictly trying to do is tell you that this is rooted in Scripture. This is a testament, thousands of years worth of a testament that has stood the test of time and that tells you how to live your life. And I'm going to continue to emphasize that, guys, because this is the book of life. This is a guide as to what to do and what to emphasize and how to be, as Maudie had put it, strategic, and as I would put it, intentional in what you want to do, leading your life-wise. If you surround yourself with individuals that have the same centered values as yourself, and you adapt to the times, you put yourself in positions to carry that core values through while also continuing to bring success towards your family and towards work, which is something I still continue to do. The sky's the limit for all of us, right? I'm still practicing that. And the way you practice is by remembering that you're not alone in this. This is something, and I don't mean in the sense of, oh, you're not alone, let me coddle you. No, it's clear, guys. It's one guy versus the 3 of us. Like, okay, good fucking luck. Right. You bring 3 perspectives to your one perspective. I mean, I think that's probably the most general way that I can put it. But what are y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's strength in numbers, and the idea is that, and you're getting to a point, right? Going through life or through your journey alone is obviously sometimes it's beneficial if other people around you aren't like-minded, right? They'll either hold you back or whatnot. But having a group of individuals that have one goal, right, or ambitious, there's ways to get to meet your objective a lot quicker and even just more efficient, right? Which is I guess the beauty of what we have here, right? Mm-hmm. We all are aligned in terms of becoming better individuals, right? Yeah. And if one of us strays, we're honest enough to say, hey man, you're fucking up, like, right? This is what we're seeing or noticing, like, either be better or there's no room for you here, right?
Yep.
And then we've always said it, right? Like, even if one of us, like, tries to turn their back, we don't we don't take that personally per se. We're like, no, like, you have to make this mistake, right? And then, but we're always here, right? We're always here to back you up, no matter the mistake you make, right? We're always going to be here to...
We'll call each other out, though.
Yeah, we'll definitely call each other out. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we'll be here to help out in any way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the idea of kind of what you were saying, right? Like, it's based off of your morality, right? We don't judge someone for the acts they commit, but... we'll fucking call you out. Like, you fucked up, but this is how we're going to improve.
Yes. And Mo?
Well, I mean, again, I'm going to go back to some of you guys maybe heard of Jordan Peterson. I like Jordan Peterson. I know there's a lot of controversy out there because health-wise, may God bless him and heal him, because I think the only controversy there is you have a lot of Christians wanting him to commit towards what is his actual faith. I think because a lot of Christians tend to like his mindset with how he breaks down the Bible and God and people's relationship with God, but he's never made it explicitly clear that he is a Christian or Catholic, or if he's just a believer in itself. But not trying to get into that topic specifically. What I'm getting at is I like the way Jordan Peterson breaks this down. And I think it's from his book. If I'm not mistaken, it is The 12 Rules of Life, which I've only read some of it. The thing about me is when I check out books that catch my interest, I don't necessarily go in complete sequential order from start to finish. I'll skip through just to kind of keep myself entertained. I think I just have some kind of... problems with like just sticking the course. I have to skip sometimes here and there, but I will always make sure I get through it all. But anyways, there's something in that book that he makes clear. Make friends with people who want the best for you, right? So I think that always just comes down to, we've talked in the past about what personal excellence looks like, and it's got to start with you. It's that simple. You can't force people to get the best out of you because at the end of the day, when you focus on yourself first and you realize this isn't, or this is exactly where I want to be and heading, you start to realize, if it starts within you first, you start to realize, am I communicating, or do I have a community of people that are aligned with who I want to become now, or who I initially want to grow with also. Just because these people in your community aren't also where you guys want to be at, that doesn't mean they're bad for you. As long as you guys have the same vision, the same goals, and are in pursuance of the exact same things too. And maybe somewhere, again, no one is ever created completely equally, but you can share the same road to whatever output you end up wanting to be for your life. So again, that sounds simple by stating make friends with people who want what's best for you, but think about how many people stayed tied to relationships that don't challenge them or support them.
Right.
That goes back to complacency, comfort.
Yes.
The right relationships build you guys. The wrong relationships, it's gonna feel like they're blinding you. They're keeping you away from what's real, what has real value. So I've learned that throughout my 35 years of life. Our lives literally have changed based on who we let close. I think we have a strong connection here. Johnny, Mike, myself, Jesse, of course, on here, and we're missing another brother, Dave, right? Or David, but he's over there getting his law degree, he's on it. But of course, like I said, the older you get, the more intentional you have to be about that. That's just flat out how it is. And again, some people don't want growth. That's okay. But then again, don't be a hypocrite. Try and make people feel sorry for yourself, as if you said, you know what, I just can't catch a break. Well, how intentional are you being with your life? Are you being realistic? And everybody's got their own addictions, So I can go on and on about how there are so many different types of wrong relationships out there for you.
I like it.
But you gotta stick to the personal excellence approach first.
Yeah, and 2 points. 2 points to that, brother. Is one other verse I want to get into from the book of Job. This is chapter 6.
Share it on your screen, bro. I want to see
14.
it. I want to see what you're looking at, man. We're live.
Let me pull this
Share it on the cord. I mean, shit, I've been told that it's not called the cord. You call it Discord, right, Jesse?
but it's catchy. I like it. Gonna
It's
stick.
just Discord, bro.
Yeah, it's just Discord, bro. I call it the cord, bro. It's probably a millennial thing, you know.
You're just old.
That's me.
What's up, ladies and gents? We got a couple people live here today with us. You guys got any questions? Feel free to ask. I might not see it, but
Okay, can you
maybe
see
I
my
will.
screen?
Yeah, share it. I could
Okay.
I could see.
I want to show you right here.
You know what? Let me also pull it up on our screen so I can screen record this. Or Jesse, you don't need me to screen record anymore.
You can, but Michael, turn off your stream. You can hear it in the background.
I can't hear you, bro. You're muted.
Put on your headphones, Way.
You're
Look.
muted.
The point is, y'all can see this. Y'all can see this pretty clear.
Yeah.
And what it has here is Job chapter 6, verse 14. It says, "A person who withholds kindness from someone who is despairing has forsaken the fear of God." Now, what does that mean, right? You read a verse like that, and let me give you some context. So prior to this, in the beginning of this chapter, Job is already suffering through the wrath of God. Well, actually, not even wrath of God, through the wrath of the devil, Satan, who is allowed to test him with the permission of God. So he starts, he takes away his wife, he takes away his children, he takes away his flock, he takes away all these things. And Job cries out to his friends. He says, "Brothers, help me." So his friends make an appointment with him, and they go and visit him. And they start questioning him. They start saying, "Well, you must have done something. You must have committed some sort of sin or not repented enough." And Job's telling the truth, guys, honestly, because God's allowing this. Job's saying, "No, I've done nothing but be faithful to God." But they start going from a state of questioning to a state of judgment, like you were saying.
Right.
And we're not here to judge one another. So they start saying, "No, you must have done this bad. No, there's no way." And it goes away, guys, because what Job did, as this verse says, is a person who withholds kindness from someone who is despairing. So his friends were withholding kindness from someone like Job who was despairing, has forsaken the fear of God. Essentially, the idea is to give people the kindness and the support that a community would. It's not to just judge someone, and it's not to forsake them, because by forsaking someone, you have forsaken the fear of God, the fear of not being judged. So how are you going to judge someone when not even God is judging you, right? So have a community of people that are going to be there to help, I guess, criticize, or not criticize in the sense of judging, but criticize in the sense of let's communicate. Let's talk about what we're doing right now, and let's question together, right? So I think it was just really important to point that out, because you shouldn't have people around you that are going to say, "Yeah, like you messed up and I'm not going to help you out." It's, well, look, let's question on what happened, and let's reverse engineer, and let's figure out what may have went wrong, and maybe that's what it was, and let's figure out how we're going to fix it.
Yeah.
Don't be a person that just brings problems.
Yeah. It's funny because, based on recent events, I told something to Mo. I was like, "Hey, bro, like, personally, because, we all make our mistakes. We all have had a past, and, we only live life once, so we literally learn through our own experiences or vicariously through others, but mainly it sticks when you experience it yourself." So, I was telling Mauricio, I was like, "Bro, like, I wouldn't
you call me Mauricio, bro. I like
right?
it. Call
I was So
Fuck.
I told him I wouldn't necessarily judge someone for the act they committed, right? The act was committed, okay, I don't judge you for that. However, I will develop a perception on based how you either try to correct it,
the management,
or you're right, manage that, right? Either you're trying to correct it, or if you continue to follow that same path that led you to that act, right?
That's right.
So I was like, I don't have an issue with that, but I have an issue with how you're gonna fix it. Right?
And I want to make something
Yes.
clear, guys. We're not trying to make it seem like we are imperfect here, and all the
We don't have it all
advice that
figured
we're
out.
giving you is because exactly we have it all figured out. That's not the case at all. I think what Johnny's talking about is there is also a lot of room for proper management of of circumstances that are not necessarily the most ideal, right? Of course, what's completely subjective is what's right and what's wrong, right? But that's where your community comes into play. If people that you have a part of your community, and again, are because you guys share the same morals from the very beginning, are literally telling you, hey, what you're doing is wrong. Basically, what are you going to do about it? Right. Or all eyes are on you. All right, this is where we get to finally test what your character is all about. Are you going to own up to it? You're going to hide from it? You're going to avoid it? Right, and wish it disappears? Or what's the plan here, ladies and gents? So that just comes down to, and again, I'm not going to say it's easy, because guess what? And really, it really never is. Great things, the most ideal ways to manage, and I guess what's presented even biblically, the most righteous way, from what I've read, and this is 3 years studying the Bible now, it's never been easy. Good things doing are never the easiest thing to get done. Never. It's always going to test you. It's also going to teach you at the same time, though. So I have to say, the pain saved me, but I think the reverse of that is comfort killed me, and it comes down to just always making sure that you're striving for a better version of yourself. Once that stops, in my experience, and again, this is 35 years in, once you stop trying to strive for more, kind of just decayed, man. Like you just rot, you got no real value to share, and people might, well, why should I share some value? Why can't I just be myself? Look, man, we're in this world once, and by now, if you haven't figured it out, it really is our moral obligation to share some form of greatness with people. Yes. The young ones, the next generation coming up. Why? Because they're initially going to play a huge part in what society continues to look like. This nation, we've brought it up in previous episodes, right? This great nation of United States is losing its values because of the lack of Christian values, in my opinion. The Declaration of Independence, the Founding Fathers all came across with these values and visions for this great nation based off of Christianity, And so you've got people losing sight of that and questioning every single thing and trying to, implement new laws or find cracks here and there. And it's creating a huge division here. Why? Because I'm not saying change shouldn't happen. I'm saying it's like they make it simple. And I'll bring it up in a business manner. A lot of great businesses fall, and I bring this up on the business side of things because that is my forte. That is something I've doubled down, really establishing myself and getting to understand and know the art of business. Okay, I care about developing and building great systems, companies. It's never enough for me for a company to just stay still. But in my experience, what I've seen from studying so many great companies and industries fail and lose sight. Like we can bring up Budweiser, we can bring up Bud Light, excuse me. There's been some other companies out there where they try, or Disney right now, right? You forget. The people, executives specifically, forget, hey, why did we start this company to begin with? What was the product or service that we started in the very beginning to make sure that it was always aligned? And what happens? You have people that lose sight of that and try all these different things and, try and adjust with the culture. And before you know it, the company itself is lost. They themselves don't even know who they are as an identity anymore. Yeah. So lack of product is now available, lack of service due to what the company was founded on is done. It's gone. Yeah. And now you've got everybody trying to fix it, but that's so much time wasted. And again, pick your community, know your audience. Who are you? Who's relying on you? And it just goes full circle, guys. But management of relationships is important. And I think Johnny hit it correct. We're right on the nail, where your character is basically always pretty much being tested, where no one here is ever striving to be or say I am the most perfect person. But I think what's more appreciated is the journey towards the effort of trying to do what's right. And this goes around everything, because we're not talking about love relationships or anything like that. We're just talking about relationships in general. So let's talk management, guys. I mean, how much time we got left? How long we been live already? 25 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. 20-some minutes.
Yeah, about 26, 27 minutes.
Okay. Do we need to take a
but-
quick break?
I think
Yes.
after Mike's
Yeah, we
take.
can right now, real quick. One thing that I'm going to dive into right after this quick little intermission is y'all. If y'all have not seen The Chosen yet, you need to check it out. It's on
Ooh, that's a
Prime.
good
You
one.
can watch the first 3 seasons without being like a paid subscriber or whatever. But it is a very interesting dramatization of Jesus's life. And there's one thing, I think it's in the episode 3 or 4 of the first season, when he's talking to the kids, because the kids have a certain way of interpreting the Torah. The Torah is the teachings, right, in the Old Testament. And a certain rabbi that was teaching them, and Jesus is teaching them. He has them all sitting down, and he's talking about a certain interpretation. And one of the kids goes, no, well, that's not what Rabbi X, I don't remember the name, taught us. He said this. And Jesus knows, because he knows all. He says, Rabbi, he says the name is a very smart person, but there's one thing that he lacked: wisdom. He lacked the experiences and the ability to truly interpret the scripture and the word of God, because he wasn't, I'm not going to say aged enough, but he wasn't experienced enough on how it works in practice. So what we're getting at, guys, is don't do things alone, right? Have a community of people that is going to nudge you and remind you and give you that wisdom, but also have the humility to be able to accept what they have to tell you. This isn't a game of pride. As you know, everybody has pride, but you should try everything you can to keep yourself from exerting that pride when it comes to listening to perspectives and listening to people. And we'll dive a little bit into that for right now, but let's take a quick intermission. Oh, we are back live. What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. Quick little intermission.
Yeah, we went in a quick intermission, but okay, I want to get back to management of relationships. Let's talk about management, because not every relationship deserves equal access, and that's important to make it clear. Just because you're already part of a community doesn't necessarily mean you keep giving that access to that community. Like I said, sometimes you outgrow, sometimes people have different values, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean be disrespectful and say fuck you. No, that's not what I'm saying. Sometimes it's okay. I've said it, but in a respectful way. What is it? Hold yourself accordingly. Oh man.
Hold yourself accordingly.
But there's this gentleman I look up to a lot by the name of Andy Frisella. Some of you guys know me, probably have seen me share quite a few of his clips. He goes on his rants, has his podcast, gets on with DJ, has
Andy
on
Frisella.
special guests. But I've been watching him probably since I was 24 years old, 25. It's been over 10. It's about 10 years, bro. It's really taking that to account.
Holy shit. 10 years?
10 years. And I mean, I'm a part of his, he's got this community. We're talking about relationship management and how it, molds you into the person you end up wanting to be. But there's this community that I'm a part of, and it's known as Arate Syndicate. And basically, it's a community of no bullshit. Yeah, no bullshit allowed. And what I mean by that is no excuses, no, you hold yourself accountable, because at the end of the day, there's one thing that him and Ed Milet, they're the leaders there. But they talk about your circle dictates your ceiling. So whoever is part of your community and whoever is initially, you're sharing some time with, again, this community you're surrounding yourself with, they will dictate how far you can actually go.
Yeah.
All right. And if you ever feel like, hey, it's time for me to take that next leap on my own, then do it. Find another group, another community. You know what I mean? Respectfully, of course. Like I said, it's not like you have to shun people out, but how are some ways that you can manage, meaning the wrong people can cap your growth, okay?
Yeah.
The right ones raise it. So managing relationship means, in my opinion, setting boundaries, reevaluating level of access, being honest about energy drainers and energy builders. That's one thing that's constantly preached. Energy drainers are a real thing. That's something that I have experienced quite often, even in building a team myself. I am here. Me and Johnny are both part of UR Home Taxes, and he's trusted me more on the leadership side of things now.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But he's got fellow colleagues, fellow teammates, and sometimes there are individuals that are just not right for the team. And I'm not saying anybody right now. I'm saying in the past experiences I've had where this isn't the first team I've tried to develop. Sometimes the values are just not aligned, you know what I mean? And not everybody has bad values. Sometimes some other people just need a little bit more time, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you shun them. It just says, when you're ready, I'm ready to have a conversation again.
Right.
But whenever there are people that are actual energy drainers, that can really play an impact on how effective or how intentional and how urgent you are with growth. In this beautiful stage we call life, and the reason why I say stage is because we all know we're here temporary. We are not supposed to sought after living forever and trying to generate comfort just solely here. This is a temporary stage in life for us. Ultimately, as Christians, we know that there is a better kingdom, a perfect place where we are all destined and hopefully able to achieve by being good with our Lord. And so keep that in mind, that you're always here to serve. But how well can you serve when you've got the wrong community of people around you again? Your energy is being drained. You're not being the best version of yourself. You're not necessarily able to also help develop people that are trusting you. And that is why I will label this energy builders, people that you can consider in your community. Make sure they have those qualities. Someone that's going to, if you feel down, because again, we are all human. We are not always going to be up and ready. And shit, I drink about 5 coffees a day as Johnny, man.
Mm-hmm. Shit, I'm on my third one already.
Fucking done, yeah.
It's barely
and it's barely 10. Oh no, I said 10:43 a.m. But what I'm getting at is it's extremely important, guys. It is. So you got to keep that part of your life healthy. Manage those relationships. Set those boundaries if you have to. And a lot of times people think, well, should I set up a boundary with family? Family's family. You're supposed to be there for family nonetheless. I'm a strong proponent of that. Family is everything. But at the same time, there is an order to things. God, family, and work. At least for us, those are our priorities here. God is always going to come first, for he knew us before we were even in the womb of our mothers. And yes, guys, mothers. I said that, okay? So I won't get more into that. But what I mean is, our devotion and our love for him should be greater than anybody else's, for we would not be here without him, nor would our parents. And there should always be respect for family, especially your parents, especially your siblings and stuff. And I know it's not always the easiest, but it is required, right? Now, that doesn't mean that you let anybody abuse that. You can, and sometimes you are forced to put boundaries with family if they are being, how can I say this? Dysfunctional, meaning they are actually draining you. They're abusing the relationship that they have with you guys. You should not feel guilty if you have to sometimes put a boundary and, not block them, but just let them be their way. You limit the access. Those are those boundaries there. You're reevaluating that level of access. And because at the end of the day, you deserve some peace of mind as well. But I'm going on, guys. You guys want to share some of your thoughts on all this?
Oh, really quick, I'll say something. I like something that you mentioned. The circle dictates the ceiling, right?
Yep.
I really like that because, in a stage of life, especially when you're younger, right? You still don't know whether you're a number one man or number two, right? Number one man being the leader, right?
Yep.
You have those attributes. You can take a team and then lead them somewhere. Being the number two guy, right, you can help facilitate in that process. So getting to know yourself in that aspect, right? Am I a number one guy, a number two guy? Being that you're a number two guy, of course, your circle is really going to dictate your ceiling, right? And vice versa. If you're number one, you have to know the team you have, because they're going to either help you achieve more or just hold you back, right? I think that's a really important concept, and knowing who you are first, right, would help kind of guide you into what team you want to be in.
Yeah, It's guys, they have movies on this all the time. Ocean's 11 or all the Ocean's series.
Oh man, those are badass movies.
The A Team.
Yeah.
Right.
The 18,
You know, it's having the self-awareness of knowing your limits and your capabilities. If you do that, you got to understand, guys, God chose Jesus chose his 12 disciples for 12 independent reasons. It's perspective, right? Versus perception. And you got to understand that you got to look for as many perceptions as you can, right? And perspectives, because understanding that through self-awareness comes having to understand the external view that someone has of you, right? For example, you investigate a crime scene or you investigate a crime in general. What's the first thing that they do? Do you think they go on one witness? No, they paint the picture. How do you paint the picture? Figure out who was even there when it was happening. And you see this all the time, Sherlock Holmes. And it's very important, guys, because through this practice, you will start to learn, okay, well, if you cannot self-reflect and figure out what you are good at internally, then start to ask people, what have you noticed that I am able to do at a level that others probably can't do? And it's a good practice to do to try to figure out what your strengths are. Now, I always advise to self-reflect for internal strengths, obviously, right? Because only you know what you're capable of. But this is important to know on how you actually look from the outside, right? Like without using any fancy mumbo-jumbo terms, you just got to figure out, well, do I actually look like I'm competent in what I do? And if I don't, competency is very subjective, right? I mean, there's a competent attorneys that can argue by being very organized and have clear thinking on how they structure their arguments. There's competency in selling, where they use certain methods of selling, right? There's competency in marketing, where they use certain methods of marketing. So competency is very subjective as to what you're asking insight on, to me. So, yeah, guys, just do that practice. Figure out what that practice is for. Be intentional about that. And that's all I have to say about that. But, yeah, guys, I mean, I think ultimately...
W's in chat if you agree.
W's in chat. Yeah, I like that, Jesse. But it's real important, guys. I mean, especially in self-development. I mean, you guys know self-development is Jesse, and it's very important to understand that. Wouldn't you agree? Like, and I think that's exactly what we're talking about. It's knowing what your strengths are versus what your capabilities are versus what are your weaknesses, right?
Well, yeah, everybody's got different ones. That's for sure. And that's why, I mean, there's just certain things, no, I'm going to take this conversation somewhere else.
Do it, bro. Well, that's how we digress.
Yeah, no, but gratefulness, you know, every skill set that we have, should be always, don't develop too much pride. Everyone has really good skill sets, right? If you're healthy, you're alive, obviously, and, which you always know, it's not the case that everyone's always in a healthy state of I guess, capabilities, right? So if you are healthy, though, you can read, you can write, you can walk, you can make a difference every day in this world. Yeah, everybody has some mild imperfections, but these skill sets, I want to focus on those skill sets. Everybody has certain capabilities that are just better than everybody else. And sometimes when we are really excelling in growth in life, you might be tempted to say, oh yeah, I'm just this good. No, don't fall into that arrogant mindset. At the end of the day, these skill sets that we have, they're all due because of the Lord. For he gave us, the gratitude should always be to him, for he gave us those skill sets. So just, remind yourself to check yourself on whenever you get tempted with pride, because I'll tell you this. One of the things about growth is once you finally start to experience it, you're going to be tempted on how you manage your success. You'll be tempted by then thinking that you did all this on your own. And remember, humble beginnings, ladies and gents. You fucking check yourself right away. And if you don't have a community that's checking yourself and they're starting to help you develop these bad habits, which in my opinion is the reason why we see all this corruption at time in politics or just in industries industry leaders, right? It can be tech, it can be oil resources, right? Energy, it can be in food, it can be just whatever individual who has dominated a specific industry. Sometimes if they're not part of the a community that has got their head straight, guess what? You're gonna see some weird fucking shit out there. Look at everything that happened to P. Diddy. You know, what do you do when you have so much money? How do you keep yourself right?
Yeah.
And I bring up P. Diddy very randomly, right? But it's because those of you who have followed our podcast have noticed that these are individuals we've talked to about or topics that we've talked about in the past. And we bring this up because this is just a clear way of making it clear that our message has always stayed true to what we preach.
Right.
That doesn't mean we don't fuck up. I'm not saying we don't, but we will check ourselves right away. Oh, yeah. And then you got relationships that are worth keeping. I do want to transition to that because right now it feels like, okay, well, you're just saying fuck everybody. No, I'm not saying that. The ones that evolve with you, those are good relationships to keep, guys. There's another individual that we always... Not always, but I can't speak for Mike and Johnny, but Patrick Bet David. I really like that guy.
BBD, baby.
He's awesome, man. Talks about this all the time, how people come into your life in seasons.
Yeah.
Some relationships level up with you. I kind of brought that up, or, I've had multiple teams and I generally want what's best for them, and I will always have a place in my heart for each and everybody that's ever trusted me to lead them. And just because they came in a specific season doesn't mean they won't come back in another part of my season. And you know what? There's going to be those relationships that want to level up with you. But you come back and you test their character. You say, okay, are you really aligned with what we have cooking here? And I'll say, you can use other right phrases, building, cooking, developing, all this other things. But sometimes some people do stay where they are. And that's okay too. Some fade, but I'll tell you this from experience, growth has never been comfortable, at least not for me. Maybe some people just have that talent. Fuck, I just make shit happen. But I was preaching this in my social media stories not too long ago, that talent, yes, that exists, but hard work fucking kicks talent's ass every time. Yep. And that is my own testimony, my true testimony behind all that. So, again, the relationships that are real, they'll adjust, they'll stretch, they'll survive the discomfort, and overall, the whole team will get stronger, including yourself.
Yeah. That's a good freaking way to put it, brother. Ideally, guys, there's three things, right? There's God, family, work. And I actually went into that too Friday and morning on one of my stories. Because I a lot of the times, guys, to me, I wouldn't consider working out a vice because it's not necessarily bad for you, but I'd consider it a form of improvement, right? Like some form of improvement. I don't know what that label would be. I can't think of the word right now, but it's the opposite of what a vice would be. And when I'm in that zone, I get in a very subconscious state of mind, right? Like I'm actively working out, but a state of mind in the sense of my thought process, right?
It's a recreation.
Yeah. And so when doing that, I'm able to be in the present during the actual workout. But when I'm not doing the workout, I'm in my thoughts. And all these thoughts come to mind. And that's really why if you're wondering why I post these stories, right? It's not to go and inspire. If I inspire someone that day, beautiful. Like that's the collateral effect that I want. But I really mainly do it for myself. I go back and look at this stuff, and this is a way to me to have a personal documentation of it and accountability. If you're curious and you go to my Instagram, you'll see that I have a bunch of highlights. But I have those highlights categorized in certain ways that I nudge myself to remind myself when I'm feeling like, man, why am I doing this again? I have my own ways of nudging myself back to my reality, and to why I'm even here. Because, enduring in this life without a purpose, then what are you doing? You're just existing. You're not necessarily achieving anything better. Obviously, the Lord, and even in the book of Ecclesiastes, it just tells you to just learn to appreciate the now. Treat every day as a gift from our Lord. Treat every day as an opportunity to be better. Guys, I fall into the same trap every freaking day. You have no idea how hard it is for me. Like Maudie was saying, I think he put it perfectly. It maybe for some people it just comes natural. Like it's talent, like they're in sync with when they've got it figured out. Then all respect to you. Good shit. But for me, it's something I actively have to try to do. Like I have to actively try to be better. I have to actively try to keep myself accountable. I have to actively try to do my work.
It's never
I have
enough.
To actively,
Right.
It's not. And it's a constant actively putting myself in a position to continue to work, to continue to get better, to continue to remember that God is the reason why I do this all and that everything comes second. My family, obviously, guys, my family is my priority, but you know what I mean. I'm talking about my grounded beliefs. Everything else will fall into place. And when you recognize that and you have that external or self-awareness and that gratitude, your perception of life really changes.
Oh yeah.
It changes in the sense that you're not doing this for naught. You're not doing this for any reason. It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to buy myself a big house. I'm going to, get all this money. And I was actually watching a video of Andrew Tate, the other day, and he was talking about, he's pretty much at billionaire status. The guy's got
I know what video you're gonna talk about.
Yes, and
Share it.
and he talked about, I don't know where it's at. I'm not going to be able to find it right now.
I'll find it, but you can share what you're bringing up.
Yeah. But, the fact of the matter is that he says now he understands, and what we've talked about before too. He understands why he's at a point where he can pretty much buy anything he wants. Anything. And to him now, he actually misses the gratitude.
Oh, want me to put it up?
Did you find it? Yeah, put it. Yep, that's the video.
Right. Let me share it on the.
Yeah, watch
me
this,
share it on the
guys.
cord,
Let's
man.
just hear from the man himself, and then y'all give your thoughts.
Let me share it on the cord, bro. Don't kill my thunder, right? You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
I think as we've talked about this mindset, and we're not fucking billionaires, but we
No.
said, why would these people feel tempted to do all this weird fucking shit?
It's because they don't have the same
People
wants
out-
as us
these
anymore.
People that have money, right? But let's share this.
Bonnies and Bugattis and Yescos and penthouses in the sky and homes all around the world and a yacht and a private jet. The second you have everything you want, you're going to want something else. So you might as well get used to enjoying wanting things. In fact, one of the saddest days is when you realize you have everything you want and you lose that one day I hope to have. That's actually a fantastic feeling. That one day I hope to have, if I save up, maybe one day I'll get. The feeling that you have right now, you need to enjoy it. Don't be mad that you don't have what you want. Enjoy that feeling. Because once you have everything you want and you're sitting there with millions and millions and millions of dollars and there's nothing to buy, nothing excites you, you don't go to the mall, you don't want to go shopping, you don't want to look at links on the internet, you don't want to dream, all of it's done. You have everything, it's boring. Once that happens, you miss the days where you sit and go, man, if I save up, I can get that BMW. Or man, if I work really hard, I can get a Lamborghini. Or that $2 million watch, wow, that's life-changing for me. Once you have everything, then you sit around with all your money and you think, there's nothing to buy now but power. And that's why the rich people do what they do with politics, because there's not enough items on earth worth buying. So you just try and buy power and buy control over other people. And that's where people's minds get warped. That's where the bad things begin to happen. But if you're at home right now and you have a dream, which is some material item, a car, a house, retiring your mother, a holiday, a boat, whatever it is. If you have a dream, enjoy the dream. Because the second that you have everything you've dreamt of, you're going to want something else. And even worse, once you've completed that cycle enough times, you're not going to want anything at all. And you're going to miss the days that you sat around like you're sitting right now wanting something.
And you know what's interesting? I feel like that's a big reason why Gary Vee has always said enjoy the journey. Like the process, be just part of the process, the constant endeavor of improving yourself and improving your beliefs. And what I would say, guys, so that you don't fall into that trap, let's say one day I'm rich or I have money and I might succumb to my fucking, just like anybody was. I'm human, right? I'm a regular person, just like every one of you. I've never claimed to be morally superior to anybody. I will
still
never say
perfecting
that.
your craft,
That's
bro.
right. But let's say I get it right one day, and I just so happen to get lucky, and I do the right thing at for some reason the right time because God's blessed me. I'm gonna make it my mission to make sure that I don't lead myself astray. If I influence people, I want to influence people for the better. I want to make sure that individuals try to do right things because it's the right thing to do, right? Like, you know, a lot of people, I feel like, especially in my industry, there's a lot of people that just can't fathom, you know, that some people just do things because they're genuinely trying to help you out. And it speaks a lot to their personal beliefs, right? But you got to understand that no one's asking you to be vulnerable on what someone wants to do. Your intention's good to keep your guard up, right? The Lord actually tells you to protect your heart. Don't just open it to anybody. But read between the lines. Like, you know, critical think. If you pride yourself on critical thinking, then start reverse engineering the why. And, you know, if you start to wonder, man, it doesn't make sense, then maybe it really doesn't make sense. Maybe it's just a genuine act. It's hard to define. It's very difficult. But be vulnerable in your interpretations, not vulnerable in who you let in. That's all I'd have to say about that.
And that's all I got to say.
That's gonna be your
That's that
closer.
Forrest Gump reference, bro.
Yeah,
That's
man.
all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
Now, and I think what you were basically talking about is a respectful distance, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, come on, man. So again, I want to say now. Listen, this is the important part. Okay, not every relationship needs to end dramatically. Okay, so if you're listening live, I'm not telling you go tell everybody fuck themselves. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes
exactly.
you can just create a respectful distance. That's happened to me in the past, where, and it happens. It really happens without you actually noticing it. You just realize, hey, I just am not making time for those activities anymore.
Right.
I think we've all gone through the phase of like your party phase. You're at a university. You want to fulfill, or at least our generation was tempted with that, where you finally graduate college. I mean, high school. You go into college or university. And you want to fulfill all this. What's that famous movie with the kids, you know, doing that big ass fucking house party? Project X. Mm-hmm. You want to make that a reality and do all this havoc and shit. And you know what? Maybe it's good for you guys to kind of go through that, but it is risky. Going through that can potentially ruin your whole fucking life. And so what I'm getting at is once you get your priorities straight, you leave that, because at one point I was somewhat part of that lifestyle. I realized, and it clicked to me, I was doing it for fun, but even I'd catch myself in moments while I was in those settings. I was like, man, why do I feel like I'm not really enjoying this? Like, I feel like I'm wasting my time. And I'd be scanning the room, and I'd be watching everything, and I'd be looking at everyone like, not that I felt better than them, but I'd be like,
You're like, I got to do better than this.
Like, this is what I'm living for. Like, you know, in a club, getting drunk, watching people you know,
stupid shit.
Yeah, and not really be themselves, kind of lost in a moment, you know, trying to separate themselves from what reality actually is. And I said, this can't be it. There's got to be greater meaning to this. And I remember trying to talk to people in those settings and say, hey man, like, don't you want more than this? Like, is this really what you, yeah, man, it's awesome, right? I'll be like, fuck. Like,
not really.
Then that's when I started realizing I think I'm in the wrong group. I'm in the wrong setting. And again, I didn't necessarily judge them for that. I just said, this isn't for me.
Yeah, and you separated yourself.
And I separated myself, and, you know, grades were going down when I was going through that phase. I mean, shit, I almost got kicked out of fucking school, you know, and I was in probation.
I love the rawness you're giving right now, bro.
No, thanks, man. And it's real, because, again, I've never said I'm the most talented, but I think one of the things that God blessed me with was the ability to analyze myself or criticize myself first before I try and judge anybody else. I said, I need to take a step back, own my fuck up, and say, you need to get right, Mo. You need to make shit right. And so I hope some of you guys know who this gentleman is, but his name is Nipsey Hussle. Oh, Nipsey Hussle, baby. And he, you know, I think he said it best too. And I'm not gonna, you can't quote me verbatim, but it was something along the lines where just because you lost me as a friend, doesn't mean you gained me as an enemy. And that actually, I think he put that as Yeah, I think he put that.
Yeah, it
perfectly.
doesn't have to be one way or the other.
Yeah, like it just hit. When I first heard that, I was like, man, that hit me every time. I will remind myself of that. Meaning, you can still care for people and still move differently.
Yeah.
You can respect someone and still limit access. You can love someone and still protect your peace. It doesn't mean that they're an enemy. It just means like, hey man, if you follow, great, but I just don't got time for this bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
That's just real.
But guys, you can check out the pod. This will be episode 74, I believe. 74. Exclusive high quality video. We've got our lives, obviously, which we're going to continue on. We're going to do a little cruising through X. But pod ends here. Go check it out. It's going to be uploaded when? Tuesday, Wednesday, Mo?
Well, yeah, I'd say by probably Wednesday latest.
Yeah.
Latest, but we'll make an announcement. Don't worry. And yes, as Mike is saying, let's wrap this up. We're going to continue live, but this is the end of this episode 74. Sum it all up. Relationships are investments, ladies and gents. That's the way I see it. Again, I'm extremely obsessed with business, so I'm gonna make some labels in regards to business. All right, so don't fucking judge me. Oh, an investment, really, you should just love people. Fuck no. Relationships are investments. Okay, so some appreciate, some depreciate, and some you just gotta hold a respectful distance. Okay, but choose people who push your standards higher. Respect the past. But prioritize the future, because guess what? We can't constantly live in the past, ladies and gents. We're in the present and we're working towards the future. Okay.
What you want.
So never feel guilty for protecting that piece of yours. I can't stress that enough. Keep God first. Stay tuned, ladies and gents. This is episode 74, and it's Johnny's birthday. Live episode 2, also Stogies and Stuff. Let's keep building. Let's keep learning and all that good stuff. Right,
all that good shit.